Hello and welcome to the Boom or Bust NFL Fantasy Football Podcast. We are back at the G4 Podcast Studio and we are very welcome to be here and happy to be here tonight. My usual co-host is with me, Shug. Good to be back, how are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. We've got plenty to get through, especially between me and you and our redraft the other night and you not being entirely happy with your team.
Well, you knew I was going to be like this. I like to trade, I like to roll the dice, so we'll talk about it.
Yeah, Kenny Rogers sitting there.
That's it.
And for the second time tonight, one more time we've got a hat-trick. It's my cousin and he's got a Chanks top on, so we'll come to that. Drew, how are you?
Yeah, I'm very good. I'm happy to be here. First time in the studio, so it's a bit different than sitting in your house and doing it now.
Yeah, it's some setup, isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's brilliant. The last time we were on, your headset wouldn't work, your internet wouldn't work, absolutely nothing was going for you.
No.
Have you paid the bills?
Well, I'm not paying the bills this time, so it's fine.
So anyway, I commented on the top, right? The last time we were on, you didn't support a team.
Mm-hmm.
We put it out to the listeners and the vote went the way of the LA Rams.
Yes.
Are you accepting that?
Definitely, they had a great season last season. I loved watching them last season, especially in the Super Bowl, and obviously I had Stafford in Cup last season, and it just makes it even more sweeter that I'm now a Rams fan.
Yeah, part of the Rams Nation.
That's me.
That's good. And we'll crack on with things. And yeah, I'm actually being allowed out tonight. It's my anniversary today, so a big thanks to my wife. I should do like one of the halftime shout-outs when it's like, big happy anniversary to Kieran and Kelly from Ethel the dog and Tom Brady. So
Kelly would love that, man.
She would.
I think she's happy with peace and quiet, to be honest.
Definitely.
The least said about that the better, but no. We've got plenty to get through tonight. We're a wee bit news heavy tonight. We're in a funny place where we're between the start of the season, which I cannot wait for, and it's building, fever pitch is building, but we're also at the stage where we don't really know what's going to happen fantasy style, so we're playing a wee bit of a guessing game, trying to give the best advice we can and what we think is going to work out. So we'll take it for the top. Friday night we all got together. One of the best parts of fantasy football is drafting. Shug, we'll start with you. How do you think it went with your team?
Well, I took a lot of criticism because I was after Tyreek Hill after the last couple of years.
I think you've made that clear throughout the pod, yeah?
Yeah, I've made that clear. So I went for him early, probably too early. The experts predict that I'll struggle, but what do they know?
No rings, Shug, no rings.
So, exactly. So I get heavily criticised. I say reasonably happy with my team, but you knew a lot of trading was coming, so I've been wheeling and dealing today and we're almost at the stage where I'm fairly happy with the team. I've got some big hitters in there, but there's still some movement to be done.
Happy or content?
I'm never content. I'll never be satisfied
until you get full zoo.
Exactly.
So you're known for your trading and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
So and you're also known for your nicknames of the players.
Yeah.
Do me a wee favour, run through your team as it is just now, but do it by nickname.
Hold on 1 minute, I'll get this team for you.
Right, okay.
I've lost track of who actually plays for me now because there's that many trades. I'm like Harry Redknapp, but...
In football terms, soccer terms, you're the Nottingham Forest of this league.
Exactly. So I've just... that's me call this boom or bust. It's not just sit for your team and settle for middle of the table. I'm going for it.
It was interesting last season when we were talking about trades. Like, I looked back in my history and I'd made 2 trades all season, and I think one of them was like in the first 2 weeks, and then I think it was like in the last couple of weeks I made one.
Aye.
And it's just the polar opposite of you.
I just roll the dice.
Trading your full team away for one player.
Scattergun approach.
I know.
So right now I've got the Baker Mayfield.
Right.
I've got the Golden Goose, Alvin Kamara. No idea why I called him that, but I've got Akers, who don't get comfy Akers. Tyreek Hill the cheetah, Gagey. I've got Njoku, Singletary, taking the laundry out, big suck up, and I've got the Buffalo Bills on the bench. I've got guys like Big Shark Attack, Jarky, Peter Parker as well, and the Fish,
Tyler Bass
on there. So I'm building up a nice wee team, but none of those guys can get comfy in the locker room because changes could be made at any point.
Right, okay. Put your money where your mouth is, right? You singled out Cam Akers and you've been talking about him.
Yep.
Right, let's get him traded away. Who's taking the bait?
Well, He's gone somewhere. Right, who we trade him? Who we
Definitely
offer?
Toasty.
He's never got a budge, so is he? He's never got a...
No, that could be good, right?
Right.
Because we're always saying that Toasty's trades are ridiculous, right? Go and offer him acres for someone,
Hold on, I'll have a look through his team right now.
and we'll see who he comes back with. While Shug's looking away at that, right, we'll come back to him. Drew, how do you think you got on in the draft?
Surprisingly, actually, I'm very happy with my team. I was second pick in the draft, and I was eager to find out who Martin was picking first, so I could then think about who I was going to take. And as Shug said, the podcast is called Boom or Bust, and I do think my pick was a wee bit boom or bust. Second pick I took Christian McCaffrey.
Your first pick, the second pick of the first round.
Second pick of the first round, I took Christian McCaffrey, and you know I've actually probably never seen him play because last season he was injured a lot, but everything I hear, he's one of the top players in fantasy football. So I'm excited to see what happens. But for all the kind of fantasy rookies out there, one massive important thing that I've done was that I have handcuffed him, and I've took Devonta Foreman as well as the RB2. So I've got him on the bench there. But no, I'm really happy with my team, and I'm happy.
Good. Nah, things for myself, I think things went how I wanted, or maybe a wee bit better. I was after Najee Harris in the 9th, and I thought if I don't get Najee, I want Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
Took Najee in the 9th, swung back round my next pick in the 2nd via the snake format, and I managed to get Mixon as well. So I managed to get my 2 running backs in the first round, and I know why you're looking at me like that. Go for it.
Oh, honestly, you're an absolute snake. All week you were absolutely hammering down on Saquon Barkley, saying he's going to be RB1 this season, and you had the chance to pick him up twice, and you didn't pick him up once.
I had a game plan and I stuck to it. I do think it could be RB1 for the season. Whether I believe it or not is two different things, but I'm happy to put up an argument against Martin. We've got a bet on, I think I can see it through.
I don't know.
Shug, I can see you looking at me here. What are you going for?
No, I'm looking to get Travis Etienne off Toasty. I've thrown Travis Etienne and Pierce, so I'm just finding what to offer him in return.
Right, anyway, right, so last night as well we done a wee trade.
Yep.
It involved Mike Williams, Olave and Hunter Henry came my way.
Yep.
And you took off me, am I right in saying, Jarvis Landry and... Who did I give you?
Jarvis Landry and...
He's done so many
Gage.
changes for
Gage.
Yep.
Right, so you get Jarvis Landry and Russell Gage.
Yep.
I get Chris Olave, I got Mike Williams and I got Hunter Henry, which I think is a pretty good deal, alright, for me.
Yep.
Exactly.
And my team was Jim Tan Landry.
Yep.
Are you calling your team that?
Absolutely not.
No?
He'll be a squad player next to me. Listen, as I said, there's some madness in my trades, but every year I get ridiculed, and every year, well, 1 year I win the championship. So listen, as I said, I like to roll the dice. The way I saw it is I had 2 tight ends, very good tight ends, so I was happy to give you Double H.
That's it.
Well, then I traded my other tight
I was
end.
about to say, if you got the other one away as well.
I traded my other one, so as I said, you roll with dice in this game. There's too many safe players that just sit with their team, they're hesitant to give in, so let's get trading, guys.
We've had our team since Friday, and you've made what? 2 trades already?
2 big trades.
Give it
players.
6 players.
Yeah.
Half your roster away.
Well, listen, first few days I slept on it and it wasn't right for me.
You need to get your business done early, but
Exactly.
you know,
Exactly.
you do.
So
I need a new team name.
it's a long time before. Well, it's Thursday. The kick-off, isn't it? Thursday night.
Yeah, aye, Thursday.
There's a lot of trades to be done in that. time.
Friday morning here,
Friday
isn't it?
morning. Yeah. There's a lot
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
business to be done.
I'm looking here at my team, right? I've got Lamar Jackson, Joe Mixon, Najee Harris, Robert Woods, Gabe Davis. I reached a wee bit for him, but there was no one better at the time. Irv Smith Jr., Mike Williams, Eli Mitchell, Harrison Butker. Is that his first name? Harrison Butker,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I'm right. And the Browns defence. Now, I need a team name. I'm struggling. Anything?
I like the one you said on Friday about Lamar. What was it? It was one of his songs. As in like Lamar.
Lamar 50-50.
Aye, that's it. Aye.
If there's any justice in the world, that would be a good name.
Oh God.
I think we'll put that to the listeners. Try and help me out with a name here. We could have Bear in the Woods. Bob in the Woods. Nah, I'm clutching at straws here.
Aye, yeah, they're struggling a bit
Yeah.
there.
I know. Anyway, looking at the news and stuff like that, we have had not too much in terms of news. We've had Russell Wilson getting a new contract.
Mm-hmm.
I find this quite a strange one. He was already on, I think it was a 2-year contract. They've gave him another 5 years without throwing a ball, so 7 years. He'll probably end his career at the Broncos.
Yep.
Is this a bit mad?
I think for me, they're just trying to bank in and having a franchise quarterback. You know, they've obviously struggled for a bit of time with an actual, a very steady quarterback. They've got Wilson now, and I don't think they want to let go of him. And I think that's really why they're doing it. I did think it was a bit weird as well. You've literally just signed a guy, and now you're offering him an extension before he's even thrown a ball or done anything. Not even threw a touchdown pass in the season or whatever. You know what I mean? And you gave him a contract. He could get injured, he could do anything, you know, and you give him a 5-year extension, and what is it? 124 guaranteed, I think it is as well.
Yeah.
So like that's mega money, man.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And, Shug, would you be looking to give him that type of money? I mean, you're talking, he's in the latter years of his prime. Injuries come and go in this sport, and we're talking major injuries a lot of times. A quarterback, these things happen.
I know, but he hasn't, am I correct in saying he hasn't had really any bad injuries so far?
Apart from his thumb last year,
Nah,
but he was back within
he's
weeks.
never had any serious injuries, I think. For me, listen, Broncos have the money. I think they wanted that stability to build the team on, and he wanted to finish his career at the Broncos. So for me, they probably looked at it and thought, let's get the deal done. It makes sense for all parties in that sense. So I think it's probably one that suits all parties, to be honest with you. They're happy to part with that money. They want it locked down. They don't want to be, as they're trying to build that team, they don't want to chop and change their quarterback for it. So I kind of see sense in it, to be honest.
Yeah, I can see where you're coming from there. Broncos historically, since Peyton Manning, have struggled for a solid quarterback that's held down the job. So they've got Wilson, he's in the building, they're happy with what they see. They've got him locked down for the next 7 years, which is good. When we say news in the NFL happens fast, last week we spoke about Jimmy G, and we were saying that's the end of the Jimmy G saga in terms of Trey Lance being the QB1 there. As soon as we leave the building, we're now told that Jimmy G's contract's been restructured at the 49ers. Do we think he's almost still a backup, or he's going to play a bigger role?
I think it was pretty weird for me, like, you know what I mean, for him to sign that contract. I watched him a couple of times last season, and obviously Trey Lance was out injured, and I thought he could fit into like most teams, you know, and obviously Seahawks are obviously crying out for a quarterback, and I think we all thought he would have been a very, very good replacement for them, and it just seems like he's going to kind of settle there to be number 2 and get his money, you know.
Yeah.
I can't see him play much over Trey Lance, because obviously there's a lot of hype about Trey Lance, and the coach came out and said that he's going to be QB1, am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
And so you would think that he's just going to be happy to sit there and just fill in when needed.
Yeah, is it a case of Shug that he's had this shoulder surgery, and maybe folk have known a wee bit more of what it entails to come back from this, or the extent of the injury in which they've been a wee bit frightened to take him on?
Yeah, I think it's possibly that he's seen that teams wouldn't really take a gamble at him with a pretty sizable contract on that side, and it could be again that he's settled there, and maybe he knows that his injury he can't be a starting QB, so I think maybe it's a case that nothing really has come up that really guarantees him anything anywhere else, and he's been quite happy to keep the life that he's got there and play back up.
Yeah, not the worst place to live.
Nah, not at all.
San Francisco. It's nothing compared to Wishaw though, is it?
No, definitely not.
Apologies from anyone at Wishaw that's listening, but they're not quite San Francisco. Anyway, any word back yet, Shug?
No, we've sent him the trade, but I know how Toasty operates, so it'll be very unlikely. They'll send me something ridiculous back.
I think we should make a guess at what he's going to send you.
But I was going to say what my other technique was. I was sitting thinking about it, and I thought, rather than just send these trades, let's try and do a wee bit of building relationships with people. So I actually sent a few players diary requests for bi-weekly calls. So I've got to get my phone and talk about how their squad's looking, what they could be looking to add on, just so we get that personal relationship and maybe we get something over the line. you know, it's a bit cold just sending the trade, so I want to do sales properly.
Who's included in the bi-weekly meetings?
I said Pollock one for 7 o'clock in the morning every Tuesday. I said Roberto one, and I forget who I said one more.
Must be Jordan. You trade with him all the time.
Jordan's got one, but listen, they'll be getting one anyway. So
when am I scheduled?
So you'll be getting an invite through.
We need to get one on air.
Aye, definitely. Next week I'll happily do a call.
I have to say they should really accept our knowledge. You know what I mean? We're the only ones that have won something.
Listen, there's nothing. I'm not holding a gun to anybody's head. It's just a nice chat.
I know exactly.
I'll even go for a coffee. We'll sit and chat about how our teams are doing. If you don't want to do business, that's no problem.
Have you ever seen the Muppets and you've got the two old dicks that sit on the back?
That's jealous, isn't it? It's totally jealous.
Listen,
Totally jealous.
This is my idea.
Nah, I don't know, man.
It is.
I don't know.
It is.
I don't think you've got it in you.
Oh, no, excuse me.
I don't think you've got it in
It
you.
means too much to you.
Some
You're
of
not relaxed enough.
Some of the advice you were giving me last season, you know, no, I'm just glad to listen to myself. I wouldn't have that ring.
Excuse me, I'm not going to sit here and say that I should have took a cut of the winnings, but I should have took every single fucking penny of it.
The only thing you provided me was tea on a Sunday, and that was it.
That would have roof over your head.
You're lucky to get that, to be fair.
I know, actually. It's like that time we went down to these bras. Come down for a tea, no tea bags and no milk. That's
Thank you very much. Take a water, please.
I was sitting there with hot water.
I know.
Anyway, boys, we digress. We'll move on. There's been plenty of cuts this week before the season starts, last Tuesday. Some of the more notable ones for the fantasy side of things. I'm going to touch on one here. Kenyon Drake was cut surprisingly. He was RB2 in the depth chart at the Raiders, and he's now signed for the Ravens. Do you think this has got an impact on his fantasy value, Shug? I'll start with you.
Not really, to be honest. Because I've completely forgot where he's went.
The Ravens is that. You take my notes.
No.
Start with. You've caught me off guard.
Anyway, I've caught you off guard. I'll come to Drew with this one, right? So, Kenyon Drake is one of the more notable cuts.
Yeah.
He has found himself being cut from the Raiders. He was RB2 there. He's now found himself at the Baltimore Ravens.
Yep.
Do you think his fantasy value now goes up?
No, I'd actually say that it goes down. I was looking at the depth chart before I came out, and he's RB3 behind Mike Davis at RB2, and is it Dunedry or something like that?
Devin Duvern?
Aye, that's the one, I can't say that.
Double D.
Yeah, Double D. If he joins Shug's team, that's what his nickname would be. So so he's RB3 there. He's went from being RB2 at the Raiders to RB3 there. Is he going to get much more points and things like that compared to last season? I had a look at his stats from last season. He got 121.7 fantasy points in 2021, 254 rushing yards. He had 2 rushing touchdowns and 2 receiving touchdowns. I can't see him getting much more than that, if I'm being totally honest with you. Okay. Mike Davis obviously leaving the Falcons and going to the Ravens also, and I think obviously Double D. Double D, I think he's quite fancy. Yeah, DD, that's the one. He's quite fancy being RB1.
And we've got J.K. Dobbins there as well. We spoke about him a few weeks ago, and I said I wasn't quite sure how it would work out. I think they'll play a running back by committee. I think it's very clear now with them bringing in Kenyon Drake, but the flip side of it, does it open the door for somebody else at the Raiders in the running back position?
I would definitely say so, yeah. Zamir White, I think he's fancied to take even more shares than Josh Jacobs this season. So you could probably see him maybe being 60-40 in terms of his favour at the Raiders. So that's one to look out for, I would say.
Yeah, so if you have Josh White as your running back, one of your top running backs in your team, whether he's your RB1 or RB2, would you say that Zamir White would be a very strong handcuff?
Yeah, I would definitely say so, yeah, definitely.
No problem. And Shug, is there any other cuts that have caught your eye in fantasy terms?
To be honest with you, nothing that really changed. I think Marlon Mack went from the Colts to Texans, but Damien Pierce sort of starting there as RB1. It's really a toss-up between him and my man Burkhead. To see
who you dropped?
So Burkhead. Aye. Well, he'll be back at some point.
Emergency loan.
Exactly, aye.
The rest of the ones I didn't really see as making too much of a difference. Looked at Sonny Mitchell, released from the Dolphins, now on the Chargers, but he's behind Eckler and Kelly. I don't really see him playing too much, to be honest. I think he's coming towards the end of his career, so I don't think that's one that's going to impact us too much, to be honest.
Yeah, especially behind Eckler, nobody's budging him.
Nah.
Absolutely nobody. But the injuries happen in the NFL, quite common. One I looked at, I seen was Trey Sermon last year at the 49ers, part of once again running back by committee, something we don't tend to like in fantasy football. But a guy I've got, Eli Mitchell, it opens the door big time for him to go as the solo RB1 at the 49ers. I like how you guys are drinking in sync here for anyone that's watching online.
Because we know you'll be rabbling on for a bit. So.
Anyway, talk about rabbling on. We're going to look ahead to the games. How good does that sound?
Great.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Episode 10, we're finally here. We're looking ahead to games, guys. Thursday night, we're recording this on Monday, so we're only 3 days away. Unfortunately, I won't be in the country to watch the game. I'll be watching it in somewhere a wee bit more exotic.
But it'll actually suit you.
Yes,
in terms
yes.
of timings.
So I'm off to Mexico on Wednesday, so that'll be around about 2 PM in the afternoon. I'll get to watch it, where you guys will be about 1:25.
Yes.
Or around it. I'm lucky.
Yeah.
Anyway, things kick off. The Bills at the Rams on Thursday night. We're going to do predictions. I think we'll start a wee prediction league, and we'll keep this going throughout the shows throughout the weeks. So I'll come to you first, Shug. Bills or Rams, who are you taking for this one?
Well, first of all, I predict myself to be in bed. Em that knows me knows I go to bed about 9 o'clock, so there's no chance I'm catching that.
No.
But I've said from the start, I fancy the Bills to beat the Super Bowl, so although I think it's a great game to start with, I think it'll be tight, I fancy the Bills to win that one.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I've got here the Bills, I feel 100% this year, same as them. I think they're so well equipped in every department, whether it's special teams, offence, defence, they've got everything. Josh Allen, he's not far away, and when you look at this game, the Bills v the Rams, if it wasn't for a toss of a coin, this would have been the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah,
both teams absolutely going for it. Drew, what you seen, Bills, Rams?
Yeah, unfortunately, being a Rams fan, I'm going to pick the Bills. I think they're too strong. I do think they're too strong. I think especially signing Von Miller from the Rams, I think that's a massive signing for them. Cooper Kupp had a great season last season. We spoke about it before, Kieran, all last week and for a couple of weeks. Can he do it again, second year in a row? Don't really know. It's one of these things. It could be a total freak season for him, for Kupp and Taylor last year.
Yeah.
Can you really see either of them repeating the same levels as they did last season? Don't know. So maybe that's how the Rams might not do it as well this season. Yeah,
it's going to be difficult. You don't tend to see these guys do it back-to-back seasons, but they are still up there and prolific. Moving on, Sunday night, 6 o'clock, 6 PM, excuse me, UK time, Saints at the Falcons. I'm going to take another way here, I'm going to go for the Saints, alright?
Yeah.
I'm thinking Jameis Wilson? Jameis Wilson. I'm thinking Jameis Winston could have a big year. He's got it in him to go and do well at the Saints. He's now certified QB1, and I just can't see anything at the Falcons at the moment. They're just Mariota coming in at quarterback doesn't fill me with confidence. They've been a sinking ship for a while, maybe since the Super Bowl loss to the Patriots. I just can't see the Falcons doing much at all, so I'm taking the Saints here. Shug, what you got?
I'm going to agree with you. I've put down here, I think the Saints' offence will be too strong, and I think they'll beat the Falcons.
Nice, Drew.
Yep, same. Like you said, the Falcons not really get much apart from maybe Kyle Pitts at tight end and obviously Cordell Patterson, but again, is he going to be as good as he was last season for them? Don't know.
Yeah, had the season of a lifetime considering he's been in the league for around about 10 years and that's been his best season yet. I just don't know. He's done absolutely everything there. I just can't see it. I stayed away from him in the draft for that reason. I just couldn't see it. Anyway, moving on, the Baker Mayfield derby. Browns at the Panthers. This one's got it all. Drew, what do you think for this one?
I think that'll be a really good game. I think there'll be a lot of kind of bad blood there that maybe Mayfield's want to kind of take advantage of and get his own back at the Browns and things like that. And I fancy the Panthers to beat the Browns.
Yep.
Browns are, obviously lost Baker Mayfield, and the whole thing with Deshaun Watson. You don't know how that's going to work in terms of obviously the team. Is it going to affect them really badly and stuff like that? I fancy the Panthers, which grudgingly I say because I toast it.
Shaggy, you withdrawing this one?
Agree with me there. I think the Baker will be on a roll, and I think the
Baker on a roll? Did you mean that there?
Absolutely.
There was absolutely no need for that.
You can, oh God, you can tell you're a dashog, honestly.
I put my dough in them winning.
Oh God.
Right, we'll break bread. Anyway,
Jesus Christ.
Drew, touching on a man there, I'm going to go off track a wee bit here. Toasty, we met him for the first time on Friday. I forgot to mention it earlier.
I can't believe it.
It was a man, the myth, the legend. Now he's just a man, the legend.
But I'm very surprised that Ray wasn't there.
No Ray.
No Ray.
No Ray. I like how he called his name the Tampa Ray Bucks.
At all. That was, I think that just confirms that it was all a ruse.
Smoke mirrors.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, no, it was great to finally meet a local fantasy football legend in person.
And for me as well, I'd never met Jordan either. Because last season I had COVID, so I didn't even make the draft.
Yeah.
So I'd only ever tried to trade with him, and he knocked me back every time. So
yeah,
I took that personally.
Yeah, he's off to a flyer this time, so get him in a good mood.
Yep, exactly.
That's it. Any word back?
No, nothing yet.
I can't believe this. Right, try someone else.
I seen you've got a wee waiver there as well, Shug. You want to?
Oh. Don't you worry about my business?
That's definitely expert.
No, I've proposed the trade to him, nothing back. I've said Travis Etienne and David Pearce for Christian Kirk, DJ Jark Attack, and Cam Akers.
Right, so if you got Etienne and you got Pearce, what's their nicknames?
Etienne Piercy.
Very original, I like it.
It's an Etienne bite. What? Right, try Roberto. Right, well, I try Roberto.
Aye.
Right, who am I giving him?
Give him the world.
I'm not giving him.
He
I'm
deserves
not
it.
Aye, Roberto deserves it.
Right, let's see. Where is he? The bare necessities, this team is.
Yeah.
If this was live, it would be so much better. Imagine they could watch it and they replied right away.
In the comments, that'd be good. Right. I like Pollard. I'm going to go in and take Pollard, although he's already told me no.
I said to Kieran we should do a phone-in.
Aye, that'd be class.
That'd be funny, wouldn't it?
Give him, take Callum Patterson off him.
Right, no, I don't want him. Right, I'm going to go Pollard.
Judge Judy.
Aye, right,
Yeah,
let's go
Judy
Judge Judy, right, because he's knocked me back already for Pollard.
Back and guarantee he will not give you Judy. That's
right, okay, so I'm going to go Judy. For Mike Williams, I think that's quite fair.
I was speaking to him last night about it.
Right, Mike Williams for Jerry Judy. Right, let's see, proposed trade. All in the name of entertainment. Anyway, boys, let's get back on the subject. Brings it the Panthers. I'm going to take the Panthers as well. Baker's revenge. Expect the Panthers to have a better season than last, and DJ Moore to have a huge fantasy year. There's one guy that we might trade for. I don't know who's got him actually.
Toasty.
Typical. Well, to be fair, he tipped him on the podcast.
Did he?
Near the start, so I think we're all across the board the Panthers there. So next one up, the 49ers at the Bears. Alright. 49ers for me, obvious choice.
Yep.
I don't think it'll be a great game between the two, but I do think it'll be a good game between the two second-year quarterbacks. I think Justin Fields and Trey Lance have got a lot to prove, but there's just nothing in that Bears team that screams that they're going to have a good season. For me, massive game for Eli Mitchell coming up, not just because I've got him, but because he's now got that role locked down to himself. Yep. Are you with me on this one, Shug?
I have to disagree. I think I said on a previous pod I don't see the Bears doing much, which I've got a wee soft spot for them, but I don't see them doing much this season. 49ers have said they'll be strong. Don't think they'll pull up any trees, but I think they'll be in the playoffs, so I fancy them to have more than enough to get by the Bears in the first game.
Yep. True.
Yeah, I've got the 49ers down as well. I do think Justin Fields will have a really, really good season. I've been hearing good things about him during pre-season, I think, and he looks pretty good. And he's seen flashes of it last season. I think I said the last time on the podcast, he's seen flashes of it last season. But yeah, I think 49ers will beat them Sunday.
Yeah, I remember last year listening, and it was obviously his rookie year, and I'm not the biggest fan of college football. I just hear names getting flashed about on these fantasy podcasts, and a lot of them had tipped Fields to have this monster year, and he didn't really do it. So there is a chance he could have a good year, knowing that he's got to put that team in his back. But once again, we'll wait and see. We don't really know. The proof's in the pudding once the games start.
It's difficult for a quarterback, but isn't it? You can only throw to what you've got. You know, if they're not going to bring in big wide receivers, you know, then how are you going to rack up points and things like that? It's difficult.
Yeah.
You know, put them in a team like, I don't know, the Cardinals or something like that maybe get a bit more down the field with Zach Ertz and Hopkins, obviously if he wasn't suspended, but could he do better there? Probably.
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, it's a good shout. But anyway, away from that, let's move on to the Steelers at the Bengals. Alright, I'm going Bengals here. Obviously, they'll just be too strong for the Steelers. Just don't see any traction in Mitch Trubisky at QB. The Bengals will be there or thereabouts again this season. Disagree, Shug? Or
No, I'm agreeing with it. I think Joe Burrow, I don't think he'll be contained by the Pittsburgh defence. I see this being a comfortable victory. I think Steelers are going to struggle past, obviously, the Big Ben legacy. I think they're going to be a very much transitional team. I don't see them doing much this year. I think they will struggle. There's nobody really there notable that I think will have a big season. So I'm going to go with the Bengals. Obviously a good season last year, and I think they'll continue it.
Yep.
And same, yeah, I've got the Bengals as well. I can't really see Steelers doing much this season either, apart from hopefully your man.
My man?
Yeah.
My man. Who's my man?
Najee Harris.
Okay, anyway, right, we'll move on. Next one, Eagles at the Lions. Drew, who you got?
I don't know if everybody will agree with me, I've actually went Lions.
I've wrote the same thing down.
I went the Eagles.
I mean,
I thought it'll be tight. I'm just going to go Eagles. I think it'll be a very tight game. I don't think there's much in it. I was kind of swayed to Detroit Lions just because of Hard Knocks. You find yourself having a wee bit of bias towards them, but I think the Eagles also.
I actually.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Oh my god. He's unbelievable, honestly. He can't keep up with him.
He's on it tonight. That's the last time you have a coffee before we kick off.
I know. I actually think that Hard Knocks has actually been one of the things I thought would actually work for them, and I think that's why I went for it. I think they'll have a lot of support behind them after people watching it and stuff like that, you know. So yeah, I went Lions.
Yeah, it's almost like the Hard Knocks hype train, and I'm on it. I can see DeAndre Swift running all over the top of them. I think he's got a big year in him for fantasy. I think whoever's picked him up has got a very, very good running back. And I think also, I forget his name, Ramon St. Brown is going to have a very big year as well. So I quite like the sense that the Lions, they've got that behind the scenes that they want to win, they want to do well. They accept that they're not the greatest team in the NFL, but they're determined, and I can see them winning that one.
We've seen it before work so many times in different sports, you know what I mean? The best teams don't end up winning championships, things like that, you know, so...
Would you say the main man is for the Lions?
Oh,
No, honestly, to be honest with you, I've still to watch a bit of it. I was really enjoying it, but towards the end I pressed pause.
These are getting wild. Anyway, coach,
I was going to come out with one there, but I was like, no, no chance.
do it.
No.
Do it.
They get a real sense of pride.
Enjoyed that one.
Anyway, in the last bit of an
That's not a
episode.
good one.
I know.
Right. Anyway, the Colts at the Texans. Let's see if you can come up with this one. Shug, who have you got?
I think the Colts will be too strong. I see that as being a victory for the Colts.
Yeah, Drew?
I can't disagree with that.
Yeah, we'll not keep on this one, but I just think there's no way the Texans come away with a win here at all. I think they're going to be the whipping boys this year, and I think the Colts have recruited well, Matt Ryan at quarterback, and I completely believe that Michael Pittman's going to finish top 5 wide receiver in fantasy football this year. I think a lot of people are in agreement with that, so I can't even speak. Anyway, we move on. The Patriots at your Dolphins, Shug. Are you going to be loyal here, or are you going to go with the Patriots?
Nah, I'm back the Dolphins. I think they'll get off. I think they've got a pretty even game. Looking at things, a lot of people are tipping the Patriots to edge them. I think the Dolphins will do it. I'm going to back them.
Yeah.
Start off a win.
I'm going to disagree with you. I'm going with the Patriots here. Bill Belichick's in town. Alright, I believe that Mac Jones is going to have a big year. They're a settled team. I think there's been a lot of changes at the Dolphins, and I think the two still to prove themselves. So that team's going to take a wee while to gel, and I could also have this one very wrong, because I think the teams are both around about the same level. So I think it makes for an exciting game. Would you agree, Drew?
I think it does, but I'm signing the Shug. I think the Dolphins will do it. Yeah, I just feel like we bringing in Hill and then Waddle. You know what I mean? They've got a lot of depth there. And yeah, I think they will beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
Sunday, yeah.
Shug, if you drafted Waddle, would you cut him the Penguin?
That's just ridiculous.
That's not original enough.
I can see us winning though.
That was cool.
Oh.
Anyway,
Something fishy with this.
Oh my god.
Last one, I promise.
we move on. We'll get the Ravens at the
That's you
Jets
finished.
next. That is you finished. Baltimore coming to New Jersey. Okay. Ravens at the Jets. Where are you going with this one, Drew?
I've actually went really off the cuff here, I think. I went Jets.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went the Jets.
Give your reasons.
I don't really know actually. I was just looking at, I feel like with maybe the Ravens losing Marquise Brown, Rashad Bateman, can he really fill his shoes? I know obviously Hollywood Brown didn't really do it last season as much as he has done it in previous seasons, but can Rashad Bateman step up and fill his shoes for the wide receiver one? Don't know. And I feel the Jets had a really strong end to the season last season. But now I'm obviously thinking the whole thing with Wilson and stuff like that. He won't be playing, is he not injured?
No, yeah, he's injured. He's going to miss.
Yeah.
It's going to be, if I am right, Mike White starting. I could be wrong there. I could be wrong.
If it is Mike White, obviously a couple of times he was really good last. Obviously the games that he played, I'm guessing he did have some poor games as well. But no, I fancy Jets. I'm going for it.
Yeah. I'm going to guess you with this one. I'm going the Ravens. There's no Milf Hunter in at quarterback for the Jets. That pretty much nullifies them for me. Lamar Jackson and a healthy Ravens defence should be enough to overcome the Jets, and the Ravens are going to be there or thereabouts, like I said, with other teams. I think they're going to be up there this season. A lot of injuries last year and it took its toll on them, but I think they're going to make the playoffs at the very least. But come to you with this one, Shug, no puns this time, come on.
Oh, no, I'm done with that.
Ravens or Jets?
No, I've got to agree with you. I think the Ravens will be too strong. I think they've got a solid team. I think they'll have more than enough to see the Jets.
You're desperate, look at your face.
I'm
desperate.
I think the Jets will get off that flyer.
Right, moving on.
And Chuck thinks the Ravens will soar.
Can't exactly say jump twice.
I know, right. So we'll get the Jaguars going to the Washington Commanders, so we'll get the worst name in the league.
Yep.
It's just one of these games, you'd probably close the blinds if they were playing out in the Garden. It's a hard one to call, right enough, right? And if I had to pick one, I'd say the Jaguars. Right? It's a fresh start with new management, Doug Peterson, Lawrence now in his second year. Mm-hmm. Their offence will be too strong for Washington's weak defence. No Chase Young or anything like that. I'm going to go with the Jaguars here.
I'm in agreement with you. I said for the start, what the Washington Commanders were going to be dug meat, so I've got to stand by that. And I don't think there'll be much in it in this game, but I think the Jags, again, will I be paying much attention to this game? Absolutely not.
No. And Drew, you've got a friend who's of the Duval Nation.
Yes, Ali. He's a Jags fan, which we're actually going down to see the Jags in London.
Oh, super.
We're going to see Jags versus the Broncos, and Gary, my other pal, who's in Division 2, along with Ali. He's a Broncos fan, so going to see each of their teams play. So it'll be good. I'm looking forward to that. But I've got the Jags to beat to win Sunday.
Yeah. Do you think have they got a bet riding on it?
I don't know actually. We'll maybe wait till closer to London and maybe we can get something on the podcast and see what we can do.
That'd be good, that'd be excellent. Right, so we're moving on again, we'll start to crack through these. My New York Giants at the Titans, right? I hate to say it guys, but the Titans are far too strong for us. They've still got Derrick Henry, they've brought in Robert Woods, and I think they're still going to be strong. Won the NFC conference last year, I might have that wrong. A tough start for the Giants, and I think we'll be weaker in defence now that Blake Martinez was released during the week, so it's going to be a tough start for the Giants against a strong Titans team. Do you agree with me, Sean?
I agree with you. I think at both ends, I think the Titans defence is too strong as well. I think we'll stop the Giants. I can't see anything other than Titans victory there.
Yeah, Drew, what about you?
I don't know, I went Giants.
Oh mate, yes.
I went the Giants, yeah. I feel like Derrick Henry coming back from obviously a bad injury last season, missing a lot of the season, and then I was actually speaking to Martin about this because I was actually going to choose Derrick Henry as my first pick, and he said he'd been hearing things that guys of that size with the foot injury that he's got can sometimes not come back or struggle to get to the levels that they once were. So will Derrick Henry be the Derrick Henry of previous seasons? Don't know, but it's maybe just a wee soft spot for the Giants that I've got, and that's why I've chosen them.
I like it. So Martin, we've got, he's a tax collector, he's a fantasy expert, now he's a doctor. Alright. So, next one up, Chiefs at the Cardinals. Alright, it's got all the makings of a great game, such intrigue in that Chiefs side. We know Tyreek Hill, they've now got Valdez-Scantling, they've got Juju Smith-Schuster, and it's all the talk of how is Mahomes going to cope without Hill? Is it going to be the Travis Kelce show? Who knows, but I'm going to go with the Cardinals here in a surprise win. I just think that, I don't know what it is, I just like the Cardinals. I'm just not sure how it's going to go with the Chiefs. Like I say, I'm very intrigued by it all, but yeah, I'm going to go with the Cardinals. What do you think, Chuck?
I disagree with you. I do think it'll be a very narrow one, but I think Patrick Mahomes, Kelce, I think Patrick Mahomes will, I think he's a good enough quarterback to adjust without Hill this year. And I just think narrowly they'll sneak it, but I don't think there'll be much in it at all.
Yeah.
I think Cardinals.
Yeah?
Yeah. I love Kyler Murray. Watching him last season, he's just so exciting, and I've got him this year as my quarterback in fantasy. And I just feel with the Chiefs losing the players that they've lost, obviously Tyreek Hill, I just don't know if what they've replaced them with is good enough. And I think the Cardinals will probably narrowly beat them, I think, but I'm going for Cardinals.
Yeah, and another one of the more intriguing games given the moves around the league, the Raiders going to the Chargers. Drew, what are you thinking here?
I've went a wee bit off the cuff. I know people really fancy the Chargers this season, and I do as well. I think they'll have a really strong season. They were obviously very unfortunate to miss out last season in the playoffs, but I've went Raiders.
Yeah.
I just feel like with the signings again, the Raiders have brought in Devontae Adams, what a signing that is, and I just feel like they'll maybe just pick them again.
Okay, Sean, you agree?
I'm going to agree with him actually. I think Devontae Adams is a big player, and I think they'll have enough to win that. Sorry for somebody making noise while I'm talking.
Yeah, sorry if you're driving to work just now. Drew's just gave you a heart attack. You're swerved off there and straight into a bush.
Sorry.
But no, I'm going to go with the Raiders. I think they'll win it.
Yeah, I'm going to say that I'm sitting here with a Raiders top on, guys, and I'm going to go with a Chargers win. I'm going to go against you here. The Raiders, they will be much improved with Devontae Adams coming in, but I see a Super Bowl contender in the Chargers. They've got Bosa, they've got Mack on defence. Just everything that they've got, the weapons and guys like Williams, Allen, Herbert's going to have a standout year. They're just strong all over the field, like I said with the Bills, so Chargers for me there. But next one up, Tom Brady's Bucks going to the Cowboys. Shug?
This one could go either way, but I'm going to go with the Cowboys.
Yeah.
I think it'll be, again, it's another tight, it's some lineup we've got for this weekend of tight games.
Yeah.
I don't think there's much in between it. I think Tom Brady, still will have a good season, but I think the wee bit of disruption that maybe in pre-season could lead to, and I think the Cowboys will be decent this year, but I think they could have enough to win it in the first day. Yeah,
I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to go Cowboys, and the return of somebody else that night. It's the Monday night football game, and it's what we tune in for later on.
Yes.
Wee bit of Carrie Underwood.
Yes,
the tune.
Love it.
Oh man, I cannot wait.
I actually tried to find it on Spotify, and it's actually not on Spotify. I'm very disappointed about
really?
it. Really? I think it's because they obviously change the lyrics every week.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Wee bit of insight there now. Yeah. I'm going with a Cowboys win. We'll come on to Tom Brady a wee bit later. I just think depleted O-line at the Bucks just now, and just reigning offensive rookie and guy, where's that again? Depleted O-line at the Bucks, and you've got the reigning offensive rookie and Micah Parsons. It could be for tough viewing for Tom Brady. That's something, but I will come to that, and that's why I'm going to go with the Cowboys. I think it's going to be a tough night for them. Drew?
I've actually went opposite. I went Bucks.
Yeah.
I just feel like Tom Brady obviously has that bit of disruption. Well, he's so professional. Will it affect him? Don't know, but will it affect the rest of the team? Possibly. I'm unsure. But I just fancy the Bucks again. I feel like they brought in decent players, and I don't know if I'm just choosing it fantasy wise because I've got Mike Evans. So I'm hoping that he gets a lot of red zone touches and things like that. So I can only hope so.
Yeah, he was top 3 for red zone touches last season, so you could probably expect that again this year. I don't think the backfield's too crowded.
No.
But from one quarterback, Tom Brady, to another, it's the Russell Wilson derby.
Yeah.
We've got the Broncos going to the Seahawks. Now, I think the Seahawks are in for a long year. Right, it's going to be a transitional year. Geno Smith at quarterback. I think they've got their eye on one of the college quarterbacks at the moment for next year's draft, and I can't see anything apart from the Broncos here. Drew, agree with me?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I can't see anything happening. This game for the Seahawks, I feel the Broncos are very strong, and I think Wilson will come out and make an instant impact for the Broncos. And he's got 2 good targets down the field, and he's obviously got 2 good running backs with him as well. So I think, I can't see anything apart from a Broncos win.
Yep, Shug.
I've got to agree. We've spoke about the Seahawks on here quite a bit. As you said, transitional, losing guys like Chris Carson. They're not, and Russell Wilson, of course. I think he'll do very well at Broncos. He'll plenty of targets to hit. Guys that will do very well. I don't think Seattle will do well this year. So I think that'll be a fairly straightforward win for the Broncos, to be honest.
Yeah, you can see by the subplot why they've picked that as the Monday night game, because Russell Wilson is such a big figure within the NFL. I think that could make for a good game, but I can't see anything apart from the Broncos.
No.
In terms of around the games, right, in fantasy football, we look for favourable matchups. Is there any that stand out for you, Joe? I'll come to you first here.
And when we're saying this, are we talking about the actual game itself, or are we talking about the players?
The players in the game, so I'll give you one straight up, because we've been talking about them there. I'm going to go Javonte Williams versus the Seahawks. I really like that matchup there. I think the Seahawks are very weak in defence. Javonte Williams, I think, is in for a big year. With that, Melvin Gordon was looking for a trade. It's obvious what's going on behind the scenes there, that they see Javonte as the clear standout RB1 there. So I really like his matchup there. Is there anybody in terms of you see like that, show?
I went with Christian Kirk. I think the Jags at Washington. I think the Commanders' coverage isn't very good, and sort of Trevor Lawrence will find them. So I think he's in for a good game there.
Yeah, Drew?
Mine is JT against the Texans. I think it's a no-brainer. Last season, it was 2 of his biggest scoring games against the Texans last season. He got 4 touchdowns across 2 games, and last season the Texans weren't very good against the run game. They were sitting about 20th out of the whole league. So I fancy JT to score big there.
I have to disagree. The other one I like, not because he's on my team, but Gabe Davis versus the Rams. Right, might not sound like the most obvious choice, but I think when you're playing the Rams, you fully expect to see Jalen Ramsey all over Stefan Diggs. He's going to give a lot of space for Davis. He's not going to quite have the same coverage, because Ramsey in that role is the best in the league, hands down. He's going to be all over Diggs. He's going to take him out of the game completely, and a lot of targets are going to go to Davis. So that's why I like Gabe Davis in this game. Any others, guys?
AJ Dillon for me against Minnesota. I think given like Devontae Adams moving on, I think he'll be more heavily relied on. So I can see him having a strong start.
Yeah, I can see a lot of it being shared between Jones and Dillon.
Yeah,
definitely can. So I can see where you're going with that. Drew?
I've went the flip side. I've went Devontae Adams. I just think in terms of the actual pinnacle of the game itself, seeing Adams in his first game for the Raiders, I would just like to see how obviously he does and things like that. I'm unsure how well he will score or whatever, but I just think seeing him there in the all black, I think it'll be decent.
Yeah, it's going to be entertaining.
I mean, I think these are your ones that are kind of your ones that you might be further down the line. You're wondering about picking a good matchup. There is the obvious ones that are going to be big hitters, and you rely on week in, week out. But a lot of these, I think, can be sort of good picks.
Yeah, like we said at the top of the show, the moment we're kind of in a weird bit where the games are about to start, we're not really sure who's going to do what, or how good who's going to be, or who's going to be the surprise packages. We're just kind of guessing like everybody else and trying to go with what we already know.
Exactly. I think everybody's got their 2, maybe 3 that they hang their hat on. It's going to be every week. And these ones are kind of the ones you'll look at every week and be like, oh, that could be a good matchup for him.
And I think that's obviously later in the podcast we'll speak about it, but there is a section that I'm kind of struggling with, you know what I mean? Because you've not really seen anybody play, so you're like, obviously, who do you play, who do you not play, and things like that, So you're basing it off of just maybe last season and what you've heard, but I'm also looking forward to seeing Etienne. Obviously, injured last season. Obviously he was really highly tipped last season, so it'll be interesting to see what he does.
Yeah, pass catching running back, full PPR leagues are all over Travis Etienne, so it'll be intriguing. And like you said there, Drew, we're moving on to a wee section here, the classic fantasy football section, which you'll hear every week here. Sitting starting. Okay, we went for 2 each. We'll kick off with you, Shug. Who have you got sitting first?
I'm going to go Kareem Hunt. I think the game will be more suited to Nick Chubb. He'll be more important for them. I think the Panthers were solid against the run last year, so he's one that I wouldn't be relying on this week.
Yeah, so Kareem Hunt, in terms of a lot of people trying to play him in their flex or their RB2,
Yeah.
you're saying you would bench him for this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to command a lot of points. Chubb will take everything practically.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, Drew.
Good job.
Okay, we're going in the room show. Drew, give me a start on.
Start him. I have went Alan Lazard.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really, really big season for him. WR1 this season, and he's going to have a massive target share. I mean, you've got a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers and behind you throwing you the ball, and with Lazard's frame, he's tall and he's strong, and he had a really good end to the last season, and I think that was him showing how well he can be, and with Valdez-Scantling moving on and things like that, I definitely think this is going to be his year, and I think we've talked about that quite a lot on the podcast over the past few weeks.
Yeah, it's hard to disagree with that. I've just actually noticed that we didn't touch on the Packers and the Vikings.
Yeah, no, that was one of mine.
Yeah, so we derby game. I've completely missed it. So the Packers going to the Vikings, right? I think it's hard to see past the Packers.
Yeah, definitely.
We derby game. Vikings are a decent team, but yeah, I just see the Packers being too strong. Lambeau Field is... Oh no, wait, it's not Lambeau Field. It's actually Minnesota.
It's Minnesota.
That's got the makings of a good game as well. A lot of intrigue in there.
I've got to agree though, I'll go with the Packers.
Yeah.
I think they'll have more than enough.
Yeah.
I think that's a Sunday night game, isn't it?
I think
it isn't like Sunday night, yeah, but...
Yeah, so I think I probably missed that one. Anyway, I'm going to take us with the Citadel, and I'm going to go a wee bit controversial here. I'm going to go Tom Brady. Usually a very solid fantasy choice at quarterback, but I just think, like I touched on before, that banged up O-line, only Leonard Fournette is really in the run game. I think, I forget who the RB2 is there because it's changed for Ronald Jones, but he might be a very good backup for this game because I'm not sure if they're too happy with Fournette. I'm just thinking as well, Micah Parsons is going to be all over him, and I also think that Trayvon Diggs is a ball hawk when it comes to the interceptions. He got 11 last year. It could be a long night for the Bucks, so I would say if you have another quarterback that's a wee bit more solid than Tom Brady with a better matchup, I'd be sitting Tom Brady for this one.
Have you seen any photos of Fournette recently?
No.
Just to see if he's shifted the weight or whatever.
Just look at me.
CrossFit key.
Anyway, Drew, while we're here, give me a sit-em.
Yeah, sit-em. So I'm going to go another quarterback. I'm going to go Stafford.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think he's got a very, very tough matchup against the Bills in the first game. With obviously the Rams losing Von Miller up against Von Miller now. And last season he was a co-leader in interceptions last season. I just think it could maybe be a tough night for him, especially at SoFi Stadium, at home, against the Bills. Fans can turn on you.
Yeah, I agree. It's hard to disagree. And Shug, who you
I'm
starting?
going to go... who
Oh, who you starting? Right,
I've got
who you
another one
starting?
to sit. I've got Chris Olave.
Chris Olave.
Olave.
Is this why you gave me him?
Yeah, he's left my team, so I don't really care what his name is. He's done to me.
No nicknames.
So, but being serious, I think he will have a decent season, but I don't see him getting too much in this game. So I'm going to sit him for that game, but I don't need to sit him because I've chucked him at you.
You know that, and that's why you gave him.
Absolutely.
Put some respect on that guy's name. No, it's hard to disagree as much as I do like him. I see a lot of people with it.
Jesus Christ.
God,
Sorry,
that
guys.
guy that just get back on the road so we back off it again.
I'm just protecting the table, it's the coaster.
Homer Simpson out the cherry tree.
Exactly.
Anyway, no, I think he will be a slow burner. He'll start off and then he'll pick up as he goes. A lot of beat writers are saying he's probably the front runner for Offensive Rookie of the Year. I hope so, because it would do me a big favour and it would really honour you, Shug. So, yeah, it's hard to disagree there, but I'm going to go start him here, another quarterback, Matt Ryan, right? Excuse me. I'm thinking along the lines of the Texans are likely to be trash this season, and Matt Ryan is a very good quarterback with the ball in his hands, so expect a big year from Matt Ryan. I think he's going to do well in this game. That's if you've got a worse quarterback than Matt Ryan, if you know what I mean. If you've got him and you're trying to choose between two, do you know what I mean? If you've got a Patrick Mahomes or a Josh Allen in your team, you're not picking Matt Ryan over him.
No.
But I'd be inclined to start Matt Ryan. Definitely would. Drew, what have you got next for me?
What do you want, sitting or starting?
Any, throw one at me.
Go Josh Josh Jacobs, sorry.
Josh Jacobs.
That's a cracker.
Oh, fuck, we'll get a break of that as well. Shug, honestly, you should take up stand-up, man. Honestly. He's like that wee guy at the Fringe. Did you see him doing all the puns?
No.
The guy standing at the side, he's like, would you like a pun? That's like Shug. Would you like a pun?
So why are you liking Josh Jacobs?
No, I'm sitting him.
You're sitting him?
Sitting him,
Right, okay,
yeah.
okay.
I think he's got a tough game against the Chargers, and I think it's going to be like more likely to be a passing game rather than a running game against the Chargers, and the experts don't know how many touches he's going to get ahead of Wyke and Amdullah.
Yeah, Amir Abdullah. No, I think I agree with you. I don't know how good the run game's going to be against the Chargers. Like we said earlier, Khalil Mack and Bosa in there. Yeah, they're going to be a very tough team to play against. Shug, who you hit me with next?
He's too busy trying to trade.
Have we had any replies?
Well, replies. I'm going to go for one of my starters. I'm going to go Melvin Gordon. We touched on it earlier, the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks defence will struggle. I think Gordon can see a lot of action there.
Thank you, Gordon.
Thank you, Gordon.
Thank you, Gordon.
No, I like it. Last year he was more of like a third down back. He's seen, I don't know if we'll see as many snaps, I'm not so sure, but yeah, I think there's points to be had in that game for any Broncos players against the Seahawks.
Yeah, hopefully I've got him.
Yeah, and I've actually got here, believe it or not, starting. I'm loving Javonte Adams versus the Seahawks. We should have prepared better here, but anyway, weak defence.
Javonte Williams.
I said Javonte Adams. Who got it in? Javonte Adams.
I know, you put two players and made one.
But this is that here. I'm not even going to edit that out.
Imagine that would be a great pass catching running back, imagine that.
Javonte Adams.
Javonte Adams.
Oh, that'd be tough. That'd be tough. Two aggressive runners as well, but no. Javonte Adams.
Don't be on these spreadsheets like, who's Javonte Adams?
He's like that guy, I don't know what movie it's from, but he's standing and he's going through all the equations on the wall. That's it. He's not got wallpaper.
Matt Damon and what is that? Good Will Hunting. He's a Johnny.
No, but in fact, you know, you're saying Good Will Hunting there. You two look like stepbrothers. Now the same with the interviewing. I should sit right.
Which one's which?
Dale Dobbert. And Trez Brennan.
That's fine, I'll take that.
No, but that's what I've got. Starting Javonte Williams. It's an absolute no-brainer versus the Seahawks. Any more, boys?
That's as far as my notes go.
I'm going to go with Devin Singletary.
Right, okay. And why?
I feel there's a joke coming on here.
No, as I said, I think the Bills will be strong, and I think he could see a decent bit of action, but if you do see him going into your trade inbox,
take him.
Don't sniff him.
Actually, I do have another one. I've got Rashad Bateman.
Yeah?
Even though...
Sit him or start him?
Start him.
Start him, okay, why?
Just feel, again, with the Ravens losing Marquise Brown, he's going to be the one that's going to fill the shoes. I know I said earlier in the podcast, I don't know if he can do it, but I feel like against the Jets, especially this week, I feel like he's in for a good game. And he had a really respectful rookie season last season, and I'm saying this, and he's currently sitting on my bench just now, so I might need to reevaluate myself.
The beauty of fantasy.
Exactly. I'm like Chris Sutton.
Yeah. Anyway, boys, we've rumbled on for a bit now, so I think we'll try and tie things up. So while you're here, Drew, we've got the guest in. I'm not even prepared you for this, but we're going to run through some quick fire questions. So I'll want your quick answers.
Right, okay.
Okay, and then we'll tie things up.
Right,
so,
okay, let's go for that.
NFL team you don't like?
Panthers.
NFL team that's overrated?
Green Bay.
Ooh. NFL team that's underrated?
Chargers.
NFL team you love?
Rams. For 4 weeks.
NFL team you secretly root for?
Giants.
NFL team favourite quarterback? All time?
All time, so that's last year. I have to say Kyler Murray, man. I love watching him.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
NFL current favourite QB, which is kind of the same thing.
I'll go different. I'll go Josh Allen.
Okay, nice, I like it. NFL time, all-time favourite player. I can't even speak tonight.
Needs to be Cooper Cup.
Cooper Cup,
Yeah.
won your league last year.
Yeah.
Okay. NFL current favourite player. Just now.
Just now.
Same again?
Nah, we'll change. We'll go with my fantasy team, who I'm like looking forward to, and I'll go Mike Evans because I was jealous of you having him last season. So I think you could have a really good season this season.
Nice. And last question: NFL most overrated player.
That's fine. Let me think. James Robinson.
James Robinson?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
I don't know. I just picked him. No, let me have a pro. No, do you know who? I'm calling you Saquon Barkley.
Oh, God.
Good shout.
Yeah.
Good shout.
Nah, right, okay. What a note to end the podcast on. That was absolutely shocking. Nothing back for the trades before we end
Nah, nothing back, but listen,
Big matchup this weekend,
a
Shug.
lot of business gets done tomorrow, I can assure you.
Me versus you this weekend, Shug.
It is.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big one.
Oh,
Yeah. Champ v
It's
champ.
going to be a big one, aye.
this
So
is it. 1-on-1 with the great one.
It's a big start.
We'll need to meet up beforehand, shake hands with our
Aye.
rings on.
Absolutely.
Passing of the rings. Lord of the Rings.
Listen, it does get nasty when these games start.
I know.
Respectful.
I don't like.
I'd say around about from tomorrow it starts getting nasty. I'm talking a lot of voice notes, a lot of threats. I did the
Bullets through the door.
It's usually just toasted it gives me now.
I'll not take it to the extreme. Just wee voice notes, like menacing voice notes.
What's the first thing you've done to try and push through a trade?
Well, earlier I actually asked Keelan for a trade, and within minutes he said no. I got angry when I blocked him.
I'm pretty sure you offered somebody money last year.
Did I? I can't confirm or deny.
Trying to find out what you said.
In front of the
confirm?
commissioner.
To confirm it was bluffing, I do not have any money to spend on NFL trades. But threats I can do.
Who's the worst to trade with in the league?
Toasted by a country mile.
Not even Johnny Ogg?
Johnny Ogg, you know what you're getting, you know you're not getting a response from him, so there's no point, you know where you stand. Toasty, he does this thing where sometimes you lure yourself in, you start engaging with him, and then you get close to a trade and he sends you something that's
Ridiculous.
nowhere near what
Yeah.
you've discussed, and it's horrendous. But I do genuinely think that in the league people need to let their guard down.
One thing about Toasty is he sends you a trade and he sends you a big pile of rubbish with it to try and convince you to take the trade. I got so many last season for Jonathan Taylor and Eckler, and he was giving me all this spiel, and he was definitely trying to take advantage of me because I didn't really know what I was doing. So like, you know, you need to watch out for guys like that.
It's not the
Can't
first
do
time my
it.
guys took advantage of you for not knowing what you're doing.
Oh come on, Kieran, this is PG podcast.
No, PG podcast. Shug said to me earlier when I knocked back his trade, do me a turn, and I says to him, I'm doing nobody a turn, I need that ring, and he wrote, fuck you, ring and block.
I don't think that was me.
I think that's actually very poor because
I'm prove it to the camera, I'm in 4K here, boys.
No, listen, because I remember there was a couple of years
4K.
ago. A couple of years ago when Keelan was really struggling, and I had probably the strongest roster that NFL fantasy football has ever seen, and I threw him some crumbs, and it saved him from being bottom.
Who did that?
I think he even might have got playoffs that year, did you?
I don't think so, no.
Or
not last year.
but you survived relegation, and then I thought, do you know what, that's some goodwill in the bank, he'll do me some turns. So I said to my team's on its knees, wasn't really, wink, but he didn't do me a turn earlier. But listen, we'll chat the doors again tomorrow and see if we get anywhere.
Sorry, Rick, boys.
there was one terrible trade in Division 2 as well. I told you on Sunday.
Okay, go for it.
Luke, cousin Luke,
Right.
traded my pal Ali, Lamar Jackson. Luke wanted Lamar Jackson and gave Ali Kyler Murray and Mike Williams.
I think Ali's won that one.
It's a shocker.
Yeah. I think Shug had a shocker last night, but we already spoke about that.
Yeah,
No,
we'll see what comes in there.
As I said, do not write me off. Do not write me off.
At your peril.
That's it. That's it.
Anyway, boys, it's been some laugh tonight. Apologies if it's been more nonsense than it has been fantasy football, but we're just guys that enjoy the NFL and we're really excited to get things going. But now, as ever, Drew, thank you very much for coming on your second time. Next time, some sort of soccer AM hat-trick ball.
I know. I think that's a good idea actually.
Yeah, we'll come up with something.
Yeah.
And Shug, as ever, Fantastic, mate. You're all business tonight. Look, since this draft, you're a changed man.
No, not at all. I don't know how you can call it all business when I've thrown in about 40 puns. Not made a lot of sense, but enjoyed it again. Good to be here at the G4 podcast studios.
Yes,
Yeah.
thanks as ever,
Definitely,
Phil.
yeah.
And
Top
thank you
class.
for everyone that's listening. Please subscribe, please follow us, and please tune in every week. It means a lot, and it really makes it worth us doing it. So, once again, thank you for listening, and have a good day.
Is that a trend?